It's the 2016 Western Conference Finals, where OKC leads the series 3-1, but tragedy was about to strike.
The Warriors do it by becoming only the 10th team to win a best-of-7 series while trailing 3 games to 1.
In the blink of an eye, that lead was erased and would change Durant's career trajectory forever.
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it.
Joining the Warriors in a controversial move, but today that changes. Because in this reality, the 2K sim changes everything, with Kevin Durant stepping up big in a Game 5 against Golden State, and this time winning the conference to make the Thunder's second finals appearance. And this difference would lead to KD staying in OKC long term, along with multiple other changes to the NBA after a huge domino effect, reimagining everything as we know it. But for now, as we focus back on the 2016 finals, this piece of history was staying the same. Because despite Durant being scorching hot against his rival, averaging over 30 a game in his rematch of the 2012 NBA Finals, at the end of the day, this year was for LeBron and his city, and nothing was going to be stopping him here. Winning the series after 6 games, still bringing the title home to his city, meaning for Durant, he's now 0-2 in the finals, but he still has plenty of time to save his legacy. Because with the 2017 season rolling around, the narrative was different with our star, sticking things out with his group and working tirelessly in the offseason to perfect his game for another push at a ring, which was vital because every season OKC was critical, with an opportunity to bring multiple banners to this city. And if he can do that with one team, it'll weigh heavier than any rings in Golden State, with a possibility to be in the GOAT debate. Although in order to get to that point, first he'll need to experience some team success, because as he has every year so far, he'd continue to put up huge personal numbers, easily cementing himself as the league's most impressive scorer, but those numbers wouldn't come without challenges.
Down by here on the third. Leonard got the step. Oh, what a move by Kawhi Leonard.
Come the conference finals, the Thunder would be up against the Spurs with Kawhi Leonard. And he wasn't alone, paired also with great veteran bigs like Gasol and Aldridge, as they've bridged the gap post Tim Duncan, giving the Spurs enough firepower for an early lead after 3. However, it should come as no surprise that Durant and the Thunder weren't going to falter that easily. He and his co-star Westbrook were each letting off a scoring barrage, catching the Spurs off guard to knock the series back up, only for Kawhi to make adjustments of his own in a major Game 5, swinging the series back into his favor, taking us to a Game 6 with the fate of the season on the line. But as the end of the game approaches, it may be too little too late. Trailing by 7, the Thunder desperately need a stop if they want to try to pull this one out. Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant on him, Kawhi to cross, Kawhi the pull-up 3, Kawhi drills it. That's going to be the dagger, a 10-point lead. Durant and the Thunder are falling short to Kawhi and the Spurs. And defeating OKC was only the start for Kawhi, as the Spurs go on to win the finals against the Cavaliers, which would completely shift Kawhi's future, because with him no longer getting hurt this season and winning a ring, this would certainly not be the last we see of him. But for now, we shift our focus back to KD, who had a lot to prove the upcoming season as the criticism was growing.
I'm talking about team carrying, championship winning leadership that I'm no longer seeing in the great Kevin Durant.
None of that mattered to Durant though. He was drowning out all the noise en route to his best season of his career, breaking out for a new personal high in points per game as he was being crowned this year's MVP, with his confidence at an all-time high this year, reinforced by a round 1 sweep of the Utah Jazz, with Durant leading the charge here and then facing the Spurs for a rematch of last year. Only this time things would be very different, with Westbrook at a near MVP level and Durant continuing to be as hot as he's been all season. This time the Thunder were running circles around the older Spurs, getting their revenge in a complete flip of last year before facing a DeMarcus Cousins-led Kings team, who greatly exceeded expectations by making it this far. But in the end, OKC was too much, and Durant and his crew were winning in a sweep to make it back to the finals.
And good evening, everyone. With Richard Jefferson and Doris Burke, Mike bringing on hand, Lisa Salters-Willis as well. Welcome to Game 1 of the NBA Finals. And what a fascinating finals matchup. We have OKC, the heavy favorite, and one of the best defenses we've ever seen.
In this reality, Toronto was finally able to overcome LeBron, with DeRozan and Lowry each making their finals debut. And after a back-and-forth duel with Durant and Westbrook, the Raptors would be finishing Game 1 with a statement.
3 seconds. Gives it to DeRozan. DeRozan's fading. What a tough shot. And it goes! It goes! DeMar DeRozan wins it!
Taking a shocking 1-0 lead early in the series, and this momentum shift would have far larger consequences. Because even though Zubac, who they traded Adams for this season, was coming out hot to start Game 2, boosting the Thunder to an early lead, it would end up being only a short fuse, with the Raptors rallying back swiftly, reclaiming the edge, and maintaining it for the remainder of the game, eventually leading to a blowout victory, sweeping the 2 games in Toronto, now putting Durant in a familiar place, only 2 losses away from falling short for a 3rd time, and the criticism was overwhelming.
It comes to a time, Skip, that at some point in time you have to realize that the better team currently are the Toronto Raptors.
But this was nothing new for KD, who was still confident they can pull it off.
I don't want to downplay anything, but I don't want to act like this is the end of the road, you know, so just get back to work tomorrow.
Luckily, to claw back into this, he'd have the support of his home fans. However, Kevin didn't have the option of relying on his home crowd to distract Toronto, instead letting his own game do the work for him, with basket after basket, eventually shutting down the Raptors, taking Game 3 on his home floor. And then we'd see the baton switch hands in Game 4 with an electrifying 40-point triple-double from co-star Westbrook, which so far in this series was the norm, doing a bit of everything on the court, helping his team flip this series upside down almost instantly, taking all the energy out of the Raptors organization, as these finals now become a best-of-3 series, meaning the biggest game of the entire season was about to take place, a Game 5 in Toronto, which could very well be the difference between winning and losing here. So with the stakes at an all-time high, as both sides superstars realize that in this very moment, someone will become a first-time champion, with the opportunity to swing the pendulum in their favor if they can win here, it should come as no surprise that everyone was dialed in. We'd have a back-and-forth exchange between the 2 best mid-range shooters in the association, all while Lowry and Westbrook would duke it out on their own duels, concluding with the Thunder calling a timeout late in the game, drawing up a play with only a few possessions remaining as they prepare for the final stretch of what's been a completely deadlocked game so far. The finals are knotted up 2-2, which means this is a crucial Game 5, and with the Thunder trailing by 1 with over 2 minutes left, every possession counts down the stretch. Durant with Norman Powell on him, getting the screen from Sabonis. Durant's pull-up 3 for the lead! Kevin Durant puts him up by 2! Toronto now on the other end looking to retaliate. DeMar DeRozan, a ball in the hands of their number 1 option. They go to Kyle Lowry now. Russell Westbrook on defense. 12 seconds left in the shot clock. Lowry breaking down Russ. Russ, great defense. Nowhere to go. The spin move from Lowry. A really tough play, fighting for the board. Russ gets it. The Thunder on the fast break. Victor Oladipo with it now. They get it back to Durant. Durant with Norman Powell on him again. Kevin Durant to the paint. His lay. Durant is doing it all. This one's not over yet, though. Toronto still has a lot of time. 90 seconds left in the game, only trailing by 4. DeMar DeRozan with it. Victor Oladipo playing defense. He's getting the screen from Valanciunas. DeRozan all the way, a wide open paint. He floats in the air. It's off. He blows the lay. Durant the rebound. Oladipo with it now. Oladipo slowing things down. Norman Powell on him. Kevin Durant getting the ball again. He's calling for it. DeMar DeRozan sticking Durant. Kevin Durant possibly looking for the dagger. Zubac with the much smaller Lowry on him. Zubac, Sabonis has it. 5 seconds left. This is a blunder. This is a mistake. Durant coming around the screen trying to get open. Sabonis has to hoist one. Sabonis is off. DeMar DeRozan with the board now. 50 seconds left in the game. He's got to go quick. DeMar Oladipo on him. They find Lowry somehow. Norman Powell with it. Kevin Durant there for the defense. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. You have to go quicker. Pascal Siakam, the drive to the paint, a lot of contact, and a foul with the basket. Just when you thought OKC might be running away with this one, the Raptors claw back within 1 now. Kevin Durant, Norman Powell on him again. 30 seconds left in the game. Durant oversized him, too strong. Durant puts him back up by 3. Toronto timeout. Coming out of a timeout, Toronto with the season on the line potentially. Down by 3. DeMar DeRozan with it. They're going to DeMar in the post. The tough layup It's off. DeMar misses again. DeMar DeRozan trying to force another. He gets that to go. 1 point game is going to be a free throw game. Kevin Durant did end up hitting both of his free throws, put his team back up by 3. Toronto does not use a timeout. On the break here, they need a 3 to tie the game. Norman Powell in the corner over Durant. Norman Powell, the hero for Toronto. Unbelievable. I almost can't believe what I just witnessed. We might be going to overtime unless OKC has something coming at the timeout. On the inbound, they go to Kevin Durant. Norman Powell on him. KD to pull up 2 for the win. KD! He got it! It's good! Not enough time! This one is over! OKC wins! With the biggest win of his career under his belt now, Durant was the closest he's ever been to winning a ring. Only one more win away. And as he steps foot on the Oklahoma hardwood for Game 6, there was no doubt from the jump what would happen here. Durant and Westbrook were both seizing the moment, playing a near perfect game for 48 minutes to complete their goal.
The Thunder have taken the NBA by storm. For the first time, the NBA champion resides in Oklahoma City. The storybook season is complete.
They've officially done it. KD and his Thunder have won their first ring, and all that was left to do was crown the Finals MVP.
This year's Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Russell Westbrook.
I try to tell y'all, all these bus riders, they don't mean nothing to me. If you ain't driving the bus, don't walk around and talk about you a champion. If you riding the bus, I don't want to hear.
Even after winning a ring, KD was being scrutinized for not being the Finals MVP, and it was clearly taking a hit on his pride.
You know, I'm not even thinking about you. I'm worried about how I'm going to dominate. So I'm not going out and meeting Russell by his car and want to talk to him. Or I don't care about all of that stuff. I'm going to go in there when we play. I'm going to hoop the way I always hoop my whole life.
And this disruption of their chemistry was apparent all year long, because even though Durant was still nearly scoring 30 points a night, a lot of that was due to him demanding more touches, almost as if to prove himself, further impacting his relationship with Russ. And this was all terrible timing, because as OKC attempts to repeat, the rest of the league was getting drastically better. Most notably the Suns, who were pairing Devin Booker with the high-flying Blake Griffin, all while also drafting a young Luka Doncic, creating a team sure to threaten OKC, which we'd see sooner rather than later in the Western Conference Finals, where Phoenix was taking full advantage over the power trip happening by the defending champions. And despite having far less NBA experience than the Thunder, they were finding a way to have the advantage here, as in late game situations, the Thunder duo would end up forcing bad shot attempts after fighting for the clutch looks, eventually leading to their demise as Phoenix wins this series to advance, eventually going on to the finals to face a Boogie Cousins Knicks team, teaming up with Carmelo, who would defeat the young Suns, winning Melo, Rose, and Cousins all a championship in this reality. But even still, the bigger story was elsewhere, with all eyes focused on the OKC duo and their historic collapse this year as Russ enters the offseason as a free agent and speculation that he'd be seeking a new team. Russell Westbrook was officially becoming a member of the San Antonio Spurs, joining forces with Kawhi Leonard, a rival of the Thunder over the last few seasons, creating a new dynamic duo out in the West, leaving Durant all by himself now in Oklahoma City, with the doubts continuing.
Kevin Durant, I'm sad for you, bro. You all alone. You have no help.
But in the wake of losing his MVP caliber teammate, Durant would take this as an opportunity to prove that he was more than capable of leading a team as the clear-cut #1 guy, averaging about 30 points a night while still providing production everywhere else on the floor as well. And despite the entire roster not having a single other all-star in the lineup, Kevin was still finding a way to overcome expectations and land the 3rd seed. But his next test was about to be the biggest of the year, facing an old friend and rival in the first round of the playoffs. And with everything that has happened over the last 2 seasons, there would be a lot riding on this series. One thing's for sure though, Durant had clearly been waiting for this moment all year, because he let off a scoring barrage that rivaled some of the greatest playoff performances ever. Even with the great defense of Kawhi, KD would still find ways to score for his squad, But unfortunately, it was going to take more than one player to overcome San Antonio. They had one of the deepest rosters in the West, with the greatest coach in history leading a dynamic duo who were taking the league by storm on both ends of the floor. In this reality, San Antonio has continued their dynasty post Tim Duncan, and were still perennial contenders, so with so much talent and championship pedigree under their belts, OKC didn't realistically have a chance in this series. After 6 games of giving it his all, Durant would fall to the Spurs, as Westbrook comes out on top of what will likely be multiple future matchups. But in the meantime, this would be the start of a rough stretch for Durant, because as the finals roll around, it would be the West coming out on top, as Durant's conference continues to get stronger every year, starting to leave the Thunder in the dust in a race for rings. With teams like the Kings adding James Harden in 2021, catapulting Sacramento up the standings, the Grizzlies, who coming off a championship were still building further depth around Nikola Jokic, or even the Mavericks, who added Jimmy Butler to their group, backed by a great supporting cast, resulting in the Thunder having a losing record against the West this year, which was blatantly obvious come the playoffs, where yet again the Thunder season would be cut short, losing to the Kings in the second round, who would eventually move on to win the championship this season, with Lonzo Ball surprisingly winning the Finals MVP. But what wasn't surprising was the fact that Durant was fed up with losing, expressing his frustrations with the current team structure.
We'll see. I mean, obviously, you always want to make tweaks regardless. Whoever win the championship this year, I'm sure they're going to try to add to their team too. So I feel like every year, it's the GMs, coaches, players' job is to get better and find ways to adapt and become a better team. So I'm sure we'll make adjustments.
Luckily for Durant, though, this next season was about to be something special. The front office listened to the complaints and were making major moves in the offseason, signing Bam Adebayo as a free agent to play at the 4 and trading Sabonis for a veteran PG in Mike Conley. Along with that, they've loaded out the roster with suitable role players, giving Durant the freedom to work the offense with ample spacing. In fact, the most he's experienced throughout his entire career so far. This relief of defensive pressure on KD opened up the door for one of his best seasons of his career yet. And in the midst of all the turmoil of the last couple years, Durant would end the year with a statement. KD does it again. MVP number 3 with OKC. His legacy is looking a lot better in this reality so far. But the question is still, can he win a ring without Russ? Well, once again, he'd find himself with an opportunity to compete, defeating the Cat and Levine Wolves in a gritty Game 7 that gave the Thunder a slight scare, but they'd retaliate in the second round against the Nuggets with a much more promising showcase of their talent, sweeping Denver in 4, all until they'd have a rematch against Luka and Booker's Suns, who by this point had 2 superstars, but their cap space forced them to have a weak bench, being just the opening that Durant needed to knock them out of the championship discussion, landing Durant yet another finals appearance after so many years of defeat. But the only issue was his final opponent is one he's never beat.
Frank Robinson, they've been doing that effectively, and off the steal, here's James with the stuff.
LeBron James, in some unexpected threads, was the final hurdle. We've seen Kevin fall to LeBron in 2 other finals over the years, both with Miami and Cleveland, and now this time he'll have the same challenge but without any other all-star. The only bright side being Charlotte also had no other all-stars, which means as this prepares to tip off, it would all boil down to KD versus LeBron, creating what would surely become an instant classic all-time finals matchup, with the 2 heavyweight forwards battling it out to the very end, trading blows on each side, hoping for any slight advantage to get the edge. Unfortunately, landing in the hands of LeBron after Game 1, getting enough done to take the lead, and what must feel like reliving a nightmare for Durant to trail yet again. Further worrying Thunder fans with a huge performance from James in Game 2, counteracting a big scoring night from Durant, who would find himself trailing the game late, at risk of going down 2-0 unless he can claw back. Durant and OKC face the possibility of going down 2-0 on their home court in the finals unless they can claw back here. Durant gonna have to come up huge with LeBron James guarding him. He's getting the screen from Bam. It does not connect. KD's still looking for an opportunity to get open. He finds Bam in the roll. Bam ties the game. What a pick and roll. Great 2-man action between Kevin Durant and his newest teammate of the year. Eric Bledsoe with it now. Mike Conley trying to guard him. On the other end, Charlotte trying to get back ahead in the driver's seat. They go to Richardson now. Victor Oladipo. Conley to steal all by himself on the break. His leg. He gives OKC the lead. What a steal from Mike Conley. What a huge basket. 2-point game now. Eric Bledsoe with it again. He's getting the screen. They may be going to LeBron in the post. LeBron running back out to the 3. Bledsoe forcing it. LeBron open for the lead. LeBron puts Charlotte right back in front. Kevin Durant with it now, dueling with LeBron James. Two of the greatest ever. A lot on the line for his legacy. Getting the screen from Zubac. Kevin Durant coming around one-on-one with LeBron. Between the leg, he's driving in. Durant, a lot of contact. No basket, but the foul. Kevin does hit both free throws for the lead to shift hands yet again. LeBron with it, the crossover, quick move. His hezzy between the legs, looking to score one-on-one with Kevin Durant again. LeBron driving left, KD's there, smothering him with defense. LeBron drives through a lot of traffic. Somehow he gets fouled. A huge lapse for LeBron here, splitting the free throws. Now it's a tied ball game with 70 seconds left. Kevin Durant with it. LeBron James is guarding him. KD getting the screen again from Bam. Coming around the screen, a wide open paint. Durant finds Bam. He might have took that himself, would have been better. Luckily, it was off of Charlotte. So OKC has another opportunity. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. They inbounded to Zubac. They get over to Conley. Durant with it, 7 seconds remaining. LeBron James to him. Durant driving to the right. They get it to Conley. Durant had nowhere to go. Conley's going to have to hoist one. The pull-up 3. Conley, it's off. Charlotte the board. 45 seconds remaining in this game. Tied basketball game. Richardson on the break. Victor Oladipo is there. Richardson slowing it down. They get it to Kaminsky. I don't think that's Kaminsky. Who is this guy? They get it to LeBron. LeBron drives in on Zubac. Way too easy of a basket. Luckily, OKC still has time. Coming out the timeout, 30 seconds left. Only trailing by 2. Durant finds his way to the paint, the basket, and the foul. What a finish down the stretch of this basketball game. 25 seconds left. Charlotte all of a sudden finds themselves trailing. They just had a 2-point lead. Eric Bledsoe with it. They go to King James down low in the post. His step back out of the post. It's off. Bam the board. Mike Conley to the line. I am still in shock about this sequence. Charlotte is down by 3. They used their last timeout. 15 seconds left in this game, give or take. The inbound, Charlotte, they're going to LeBron. No surprise there. Trailing by 3. You might need a 3 here. They find Bledsoe for the tie. Bledsoe, it's off. They get the board. King James in the corner. OKC doesn't have any timeouts. Kevin Durant, he's going to have to hoist from half court. And as that heave was off target, it would set things up for a just as close overtime. That ending the regulation just threw me off. I didn't even get the replay, so hopefully that looks fine in the editing. But nonetheless, let's get back to the moment here. OKC leading by 3 in the overtime. Kaminsky, his lay, puts it back within 1. This is so insane. I'm just kind of all over the place here. Kevin Durant now with the ball up by 1. 70 seconds left in the ball game. Overtime. Trailing 1-0 in the NBA Finals. Zubac with the screen. Kevin Durant coming around that screen. One-on-one with LeBron. The crossover gets nowhere. Durant goes back to Zubac. They go to Mike Conley here. 6 seconds left. Victor Oladipo, the longtime Thunder in this reality. Oladipo, he finds Zubac. Not a good look. Zubac is off. No surprise. Kaminsky with the basketball. On the break, Richardson. Zubac on him. Zubac trying to keep up. Richardson loses in the paint. Zubac, the foul in the basket. Unbelievable. Richardson missed the free throws, but the Thunder are still at risk of collapsing here in overtime. They find Mike Conley in the paint. Bam with it. Oladipo again. 30 seconds left. You're trailing by 1. How this even happened is beyond me. The screen from Zubac. Oladipo finds Zubac. Zubac makes up for the bad defense on the other end. Charlotte timeout. With a 1-point game, I need them to get a stop. I don't know how much more of this I can take. LeBron James, Kevin Durant is on him. LeBron in the post. Exiting out to the perimeter. Gets the screen. LeBron, the drive to the right. Durant is there. Baseline. LeBron is off. Durant the rebound. Conley to the line. Mike Conley, a great free throw shooter, split the free throws. Charlotte used the timeout. 2-point game now. It's 6 seconds left in the ball game. LeBron James with it, driving it on Durant. Kaminsky for the win. It's off. It's off. OKC survives a thriller. Unbelievable. And that exciting finish was setting the tone for the remainder of the series, with every following game going down to the wire, as both Durant and LeBron desperately attacked with the ball, each trying to further improve their legacy. But at the end of the day, only one of these all-time greats could be crowned on top.
This year's Bill Russell Finals MVP goes to Kevin Durant.
Finally, Durant has gotten things done as the clear singular all-star on his group, winning a championship on his own, loyal to OKC, and there is nothing the doubters can say about him now. And as he goes on to celebrate winning his second ring, he has an opportunity to win even more than he did with the Warriors. But this final challenge wouldn't be easy, because if we fast forward to Durant's final year in the 2025 playoffs, he'd be losing to a Blazers team featuring both Lillard and Wemby, finishing his last season after 6 in the conference finals. And in 2022, where battling things out with Russ one last time, the Spurs would have the final laugh in their history of battles, defeating the Thunder in a round 1 sweep, leaving Durant with only 1 season left for ring 3. But the good news is he'd be in the finals.
Kevin Durant. Yeah. Anywhere Kevin Durant plays, I'm going to be ready to play him.
And with Edwards bringing his Bulls to the finals, he'd have a chance to compete against his favorite player. And in real life, we all know Ant dazzled the world, stunning his idols, sending him packing in the postseason. But in this reality, things were different. Kevin Durant was using all of his experience up to this point, all the calluses on his ego, his trials with adversity, and everything else in between, to take his team to one final pinnacle. As much as I'd love to hype up this final series, we'll keep things true to the excellence of Durant on the Thunder, sweeping the Bulls in one final showdown, putting to rest any possibility for excuses here as Durant hoists possibly his most valuable Larry O'Brien as he closes off his career, staying loyal to his city.